Om Namah Shivaya. I am astrologer and author, Professor Rudra Prasanna Mahapatra from Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Let's discuss a very interesting topic, that is, how can Saturn and Mars be complementary to each other? Highly contradicting, but let's discuss that. Mars and Saturn, they are inimical. Why they are inimical? Mars indicates your muscle power, your anger. Saturn indicates your effort, your righteousness. You need to be correct. Mars is not always correct. Mars is like when you have to do your work by your muscle power, by your anger. Saturn is do it, whatever God has given to you, do it. Do not be highly aggressive, be very grounded. And the most important thing is the righteousness. Saturnian people, Saturnian means in the chart where Saturn is extremely sad body, indicating that those people believe in dharma, believe in righteousness, believe in the do's and do nots. But Mars is not like that. Well, Saturn is delayed action, Mars is impulsive. So it's all your karma. That's Mars and Saturn, they are just the language to read your karma. These planets, they don't have anything by themselves to impact on you, to all those upsets and other things, so just leave it. Planets are the language to read your prarabdha. Basing on that, your contradicting prarabdha is Saturn and Mars. Like you tried to be in the path of righteousness, but you failed, or you are in the path of righteousness, you failed very severely. You thought that no, there is nothing called dharma in this Kali Yuga. I should have been highly aggressive. At the latter part of your life, say it is 60 onwards, if you are dying a normal death and you died at the age of 70. In the next lifetime, your Mars should be highly aggressive, indicating that your karma was intending toward that, and Saturn is weak. Vice versa, if you are highly aggressive and finally you said, no, I should have been righteous to other people, so that I failed. That is why. In the next life, your Saturn will be good and Mars will be temporarily malefic, like that. So let's discuss that in the chart. Let me tell you one thing. You know the power of exaltation. I have told you in the context of the Dridha and Adridha karma, two concepts, exaltation and debilitation. Exalted planets mean the karma pertaining to that planet you have accomplished. There is nothing to be worried regarding that karma. Moon exalted, you have got all the graces from your mother, you have done all the Shiva duties of yours. However, you can never accomplish the duties towards your mother or your father. But having said that, if you are very good at that, moon is exalted, sun is debilitated, means you have neglected your father. Fine. Now, coming to Saturn and Mars. Don't think that Saturn is your worker, Mars is your brother. Just take the Kala Purusha Kundali and you see where Saturn and Mars are exalted and debilitated. They control, Saturn and Mars, they control all the four angles of the Kala Purusha Kundali. I'm repeating, Saturn and Mars, they control, or their exaltation and debilitation controls the four angle of Kala Purusha Kundali. How? Saturn is exalted in Libra, debilitated in Aries. So the first and the seventh house, fourth and tenth, that is Cancer and Capricorn. Mars is debilitated in Cancer and exalted in Capricorn. Right? So in the Kala Purusa, Saturn and Mars, they are like pillar. Don't take the lordship here. However, the lordship also, if you take the lordship of the 10th and first, Saturn and Mars, but exaltation and debilitation. Now come to how they can be complementary to each other. Mars, let's start from Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn and a debilitated Saturn is in Aries. Now the exalted Mars is aspecting Saturn. Clear? Exalted Mars in the Capricorn is aspecting a debilitated Saturn in Aries. Similarly, if Saturn is exalted in Libra, exalted Saturn is aspecting a debilitated Mars by its 10th aspect in the Cancer. Clear? I am not sure people why people have not made videos on this earlier. How can this exaltation and debilitation or Mars and Saturn can be highly complementary to each other? So exalted Saturn has the power to aspect a debilitated Mars, and the exalted Mars has the power to aspect the debilitated Saturn. Clear? Now, taking the theory of Nichchavanga to some extent ahead, exaltation aspect to a debilitated planet Nichchavanga is happening to many extent. Okay, so if now Saturn is exalted means in any chart soever, in any chart soever, wherever the planet is posited, one exalted planet is saying the karma is over. Related to the karma that planet is indicating is over. The house where exalted planet is there, if posited singularly. I'm repeating on the line, if posited singularly, then the karma pertaining to that house is also over. Good sign. Now, one exalted Mars is now regulating your debilitated Saturn. What does it indicate? Mars is very good for that means you have done excellent good job for your anger. Now somehow you have missed the righteousness in your last life for which Saturn is debilitated. But the anger issue, by force, by muscle, by you might have dominated many lands, you might have protected people for which Mars is exalted. Now, the dharma of Mars or the punya of the Mars or the purva punya of the Mars is now will regulate Saturn to improve your righteousness. Clear? Similarly, the dharma of Saturn, the righteousness you have done excellent. Well, you were an excellent industrious person in your last life. Exalted Saturn is a regulating or aspect means a regulation. When it is not a mutual aspect, let me also make it clear. When it is not a mutual aspect, it is a special aspect. It is a regulation. Like you are not worried what your parents are doing, but your parents are worried what you are doing. So parents have got eyes on you. You are not saying, Father, you are not investing money in the LIC. I'm not getting that. But your parents are looking upon you. But when it is a mutual one, like husband and wife, things are different. But when it is like parent and son, parent and children, things are different. So here, Saturn's the exalted Saturn aspecting Mars or exalted Mars aspecting Saturn means the exalted Saturn or the exalted Mars, they are taking control over the debilitated Mars or Saturn, which is excellent. The Purva Punya of Saturn now will helpful for you to improve your karma regarding Mars. That means you have definitely done severely wrong to your brothers. In the last life, Mars is debilitated. But you be please be righteous and you will be in a chart where this kind of condition is being seen, irrespective of the lagna, irrespective of the lagna. If lagna you know, then you take the bhava also. If you don't know the lagna, you can at least take the planetary significations. From the planetary signification, Saturn, righteousness, Mars is your anger. So you now be very righteous towards your brothers. You have to see for the third house, 11th house for your brothers. Leave that. But the basic proposition is like this. And your anger will be very righteous. That means whenever you are being angry, it will be very correct because an exalted Saturn is aspecting Mars. If you are purchasing a land, debilitated Mars is showing that you will fall in loss. But an exalted Saturn is aspecting. So chances are very less. It may take time to purchase a land and you will have a good house because Saturn is exalted. You know, the concrete Saturn house is not home. House, the concrete, the Saturn, the land is Mars, and the home is your moon. So that is from the three planets. Similarly, debilitated Saturn is there, and exalted Mars is also there. So you will not be industrious, you will be very forceful in the things, but you will be angry, but the righteousness will be imbibed in that. Debilitated Saturn means you will not be industrious, but even if you are industrious, you will not get the good result. Yes, I have forgotten to tell you one thing. If debilitated but Sadbali, then you will be industrious. Sadbala and debilitation have nothing to do. The only thing is that debilitation means you are getting the papa of that planet. The exaltation is Punya. So Punya of Mars is controlling the papa of Saturn. That means the papa of Saturn is getting cancelled. The path of Saturn is getting cancelled by the exaltation aspect of Mars, vice versa. So let me tell you few other two lines so that I need not to make another video on this. As they are inimical, Saturn and Mars, they when they are in mutual aspect, when they are in conjunction, it is said to be wrong. But they are also hampering each other's significations. Okay. So I was going through a book, Ujja Dosa, by the Trivedi duo. You must be knowing from this two husband-wife writers, Midura Trivedi and T.P. Trivedi from Lucknow. They have done significant research, yes, significant research on Saturn and significant research on matrimonial astrology. Yes, that's my personal view. So they have written that if Saturn is hampering Mars, then the Kurja Dosa is getting 75% cancer. Their view, I'm referring the book. To me also it is true to many extent, but I cannot give a percentage guarantee like them. They are very very senior astrologers. If you read their books, you can really understand their experience. One thing. Second, if a malefic Saturn is there and Mars is aspecting that, the maleficent of Saturn is getting little bit cancelled because Mars is hampering Saturn. So during the Sadasati, if at all it is there, it will not impact that. Though I'm writing a book on Sadasati now, not Sadasati, all of Kujjadosa also, Sadasati can hamper. You can give it 2% only, 2-3%. So very fine-tuned research is required. I always also say in my videos that there is a way to look at Sadasati. So if Sadasati is also there, so Mars is cancelling that, being connected to Saturn. Say it is aspect or conjunction. So Saturn is helping to remove the Kujadosa to some extent, and Mars is helpful to removing the Sadasati concept to some extent. Highly complementary, an exalted aspect of Saturn on Mars and exalted aspect of Mars on Saturn is extremely complementary and will be welcome in any chart. Well, now probably you will not think that in the fashion of this red and blue. Saturn is red and this is blue. I remember my days in the boxing ring. It is always red and blue. They are heavy opponent, but they can be complementary to each other in a very serious fashion. Especially first proposition, you take second cancellation of Kujja dosa and other things, maybe to some extent if you apply the simple logic. But what I proposed, that I refer from other books, but what I proposed is the exalted aspect of Saturn and Mars, or exalted aspect of Mars and Saturn, especially debilitated Saturn and debilitated Mars, is working excellent in a chart. Well, however, if you take it matters. But anyway, for the Venusian or the Mercurian Saturn, Mercurian ascendant, if Saturn is exalted, it is good. The Jupiterian and the Leo Cancer ascendant, if Mars is exalted, it is good. So Mars and Saturn, if they are doing this kind of combination, so your karma is showing a very good scope to improve in this life, right? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have something to say, comment box is open. I'm very glad that people are not writing absurd comments now. I'm really glad that people, they are very sure that we cannot pay Professor Mahapatra. They are not bothering me anymore. I'm not getting even any consultation in 15 days, at least 15 days, one consultation, maybe daily. The disturbance is no more there. And comment section, it's really good. People are not doing any absurd comments. Thanks to all of you for that you are abiding my guidelines. And if you at least cannot help me, cannot support me, please do not disturb me. So that was my notion. My notion was not to dishearten you. My notion was not to uh, uh, belittle your knowledge, or to put down your curiosity to come for consultation. But uh, conditions apply. But thanks for that. Really thanks for that. Anyway, this is all for today. If Lord Mahadeva wants, I'll come up with another new video soon. Till then, God bless you all. Om Namah Shivaya.